For more than 40 years, Voyager 1 has sailed deeper and deeper into the endless black of space. It has drifted far beyond the planets, farther than the warmth of our sun's protective shield, into a region so distant and cold that even light itself requires years to travel across it. Out there, in the silence of the interstellar void, the spacecraft continues to whisper faint signals back to Earth, like a lonely ghost ship calling across an ocean of darkness. For most of the world, Voyager is little more than a forgotten relic. Yet for a few who understand its significance, it remains a silent legend. But no one, not even the scientists and engineers who built it, could have foreseen what its old, long-stored images might one day reveal. Images taken decades ago, tucked away in memory, waiting in silence. And then, unexpectedly, they became the key to a cosmic mystery. The turning point came when Google's experimental quantum artificial intelligence was asked to perform a simple task: enhance and restore Voyager's archived footage. What should have been nothing more than a demonstration of technology soon became something much stranger. Because the AI did not merely sharpen the pixels or increase resolution. It uncovered something hidden. Something that should not have been there. At first, it appeared to be only a faint irregularity. But soon it began to take shape. A pattern. A structure. A presence. One that seemed not random, but deliberate, almost aware. And when the research team realized the structure was not static, that it shifted, mirrored, and aligned itself in response to Voyager's own scans, their amazement turned into unease. It was as if Voyager 1, humanity's lonely explorer, was no longer alone in the dark. And even more unsettling, it meant that something out there might have been watching all along. When Voyager 1 first crossed into true interstellar space in 2012, it was celebrated as a triumph of human exploration. For the very first time, an artifact of Earth had broken free from the cradle of our solar system. Its instruments reported the same kinds of readings over and over again: streams of charged particles, faint levels of plasma, measurements of cosmic radiation. Nothing unusual. Nothing unexpected. But that changed when the quantum AI re-examined Voyager's archived image data. Between 2012 and 2015, Voyager had captured countless sequences that seemed at first unremarkable. The AI began to sift through them with power far beyond classical computing. And then it noticed something. Faint lines, subtle almost to invisibility, repeating across multiple frames. Lines that had always been dismissed as background noise. But this time, the AI synchronized them across timestamps, stabilized them, and slowly pieced them together. What emerged was breathtaking. A formation in the dark. A symmetrical, grid-like structure written across the emptiness of space itself. It was not noise. It was not interference. It was intentional. Most disturbing of all, this formation maintained its position relative to Voyager's path, as if it were moving with the spacecraft, or fixed to a reference point beyond human comprehension. In a universe driven by chaos, disorder, and entropy, something perfectly ordered had been uncovered. Not a cloud, not a starfield. A structure. A precision that defied every known law of. At first, the research team clung desperately to rational explanations. Surely this was nothing more than a coincidence, an illusion born of distance and perspective. Perhaps faint star alignments were tricking the eye. Perhaps Voyager's aging instruments, running far beyond their expected lifetime, were producing interference. Some even suggested a malfunction in the imaging system, a glitch buried in corrupted data. But then, the impossible occurred. The formation did not remain fixed. It moved. Not haphazardly, not like drifting space debris or the chaos of cosmic dust. It moved with rhythm. It shifted. It rotated. It reoriented itself, timed almost exactly with Voyager's scanning sequences. Every time the spacecraft aimed its instruments toward a new stretch of the void, the formation responded, adjusting with deliberate precision. It was as if something vast and unseen was not only aware of Voyager's presence, but aware of being observed. And worse, it seemed aware of the observers back on Earth as well. The quantum AI provided confirmation. Where human eyes struggled, the algorithms detected micro-adjustments in the structure's symmetry. Tiny shifts, impossibly subtle, yet perfectly synchronized with Voyager's telemetry pulses. This was not static. This was not background noise. The formation was echoing the signal. It was responding to the scan. Such behavior, occurring on a scale measured in light years, should have been impossible. And yet it mirrored something deeply familiar to science: the observer effect in quantum mechanics. A principle where the very act of watching alters the behavior of what is watched. But here, the unsettling truth stretched far beyond atoms and photons in a laboratory. Voyager was sweeping vast distances of interstellar space. And something out there, something immense, something hidden, was reacting to our gaze. It was as though the very fabric of the cosmos had blinked in acknowledgement. With each new reconstruction, the AI uncovered deeper layers of order and complexity. The grid was not merely symmetrical. It was encoded with meaning. Within the spacing of its nodes, within the geometry itself, patterns began to emerge. At first, they seemed abstract, meaningless curiosities. But slowly, the coincidences became too precise to ignore. Prime numbers appeared in sequence, pulsing like a heartbeat of intelligence. Fibonacci spirals unfolded across its structure, echoing the same spirals seen in seashells, galaxies, and DNA. Harmonic ratios revealed themselves, resonating with the fundamental constants of nature. Pi. The golden ratio. Planck's constant. The building blocks of reality itself. These were not artifacts of compression. They were not glitches in transmission. They were intentional. And then came the most haunting realization of all. These very same sequences, these mathematical fingerprints, were already familiar. Because humanity had written them into Voyager's golden record. Our carefully chosen language to speak across the stars. Our universal handshake. Our declaration that we exist, that we seek peace, that we long for contact. And now, that same message was being reflected back at us. Not distorted. Not fragmented. But reconstructed with startling clarity. As though something out there had received our gift, understood it, and chosen to respond. The odds of this being coincidence were not just small, they were effectively zero. This was not a trick of perception. This was not an error in code. It was deliberate. It was real. Voyager had not stumbled into a meaningless anomaly. It had crossed a threshold. It had activated something buried deep within the structure of the universe. It had begun a dialogue. And the language being spoken was not human. It was older. It was deeper. It was cosmic. A voice not made of words, but of numbers, patterns, and silence,